and I'm from Violet, Louisiana, but also grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, majority of my life. Yes, I would say regarding mental health, that was the main reason I guess I decided to um, take part in quite a few documentaries for the 20th year anniversary of Katrina. For me, it was traumatic reliving that experience and thinking about what we all went through and how some of us didn't make it and how, many of us did survive. And I guess we always gonna have that guilt, of the people that didn't make it. So that'll be something dealing with mental health. People might not know it, but when you constantly think about people that suffered and how you were so close to maybe death yourself, that can cause you mental health and stress and other kind of things that affect you. You won't probably see it or notice it right away, but it'll slowly start affecting your body. But it takes hold in your mind first, so if you beat yourself up with a guilt trip and you focus on that too much, it'll eat away at you, and then eventually it'll take hold of your body, and then you can start having all kind of medical situations. Mental health is something I would say I really didn't even consider, and when dealing with that, until my mom's passed away. Lost a lot of relatives before, but when I lost my mom, oh my God, like anxiety, I didn't even know what that was. Like I just know I couldn't breathe at certain times. I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack. I used to call 911 so the ambulance could come and try to save my life. By the time they bring me to the hospital, like, all the doctors or all the helpers, like, the nurses, assistants or whatever, they would just say, "Do you believe in God?" And I'll tell them, "That's clear that I believe in God. Yes, I do." I would just say, "But what that got to do with me breathing?" Well, it has a lot to do with you breathing. You believe in God, God gives you breath, and that's one way to look at it. However, for people that don't believe in God and just, thinking of like a level as you're not able to breathe, and what is that? So you can't force yourself to breathe properly on your own. When anxiety kick in, your chest, it tightens up to some unimaginable level. Like people talk about, like it feel like an elephant sitting on your chest, like you can't breathe, like it's not opening up enough. But it's anxiety, and to have anxiety is to have a fear. And so I guess I finally realized many years later that my fear and anxiety came from me not knowing what life would be like without my mom's. And it was in my head first. And then it got into my body. Then I started having like high blood pressure, extremely bad panic attacks. Like I said, I think I've been rushed to the hospital so many times thinking I was about to die. And then I was having palpitations like in my chest, right by my heart. So I just thought I was gonna have a heart attack all the time. And yeah, because I never feared any man. I was in the Marines. I'm a big tough guy. I never feared any man at all, but the fear of the unknown is something that can also get inside your head first, and then eventually it will affect your body, like I said. And so in mental health, and especially for men, I think we're afraid and ashamed to say anything about mental health. Like, we are so ashamed to say, man, I'm having a problem. Like, I have a problem in my head. Like, like everything I'm thinking about is death and destruction, and nothing is gonna get better. It's just gonna get worse. And like, do you ride it out and take all of that stress and deal with it by yourself? But I would say I would want you guys to learn from me, like I did. Like, I could go to work and go work with the kids, and they helped out a great deal. But by the time I left that school and I got to my home and I opened that door, I just felt empty. Like, and the tears just flowed from my eyes, and I just realized how, like, I almost didn't want to carry on without my mom's around. Not saying that I was suicidal. I wasn't that, never. I just felt like I didn't want to carry on. It just felt like the world really was over. They didn't have anything I felt like I needed to achieve, or anything else I felt like I had to prove without the approval from my mom. She was no longer here. I wasn't gonna get that. So yeah, I got slowly, like, you could say it was a slight depression until like it was full blown. That I just was totally depressed. And this was every day, every day, every day for like 3 to 4 years. It was like this. And so since I had a battle in my mind and in my heart, it just kind of took control of like my body and different things that happened along the way. So I suffered in silence. I didn't want to ask for help. I didn't want to tell anybody anything. But if you're listening out there, it doesn't matter if you're in the UK, United States, or wherever you're at in the world, don't be afraid to reach out and speak to people about what you have going on in your head. If you know it's affecting you, the least you can do is ask for help. You know how many people that are no longer with us today that felt abandoned and rejected, and I just was too afraid, because people are weird sometimes, and they'll say like they're there for you, but really don't be there for you. So it is tough for, some individuals to actually want to, ask for help. That's a tall order. All I'm saying is they have other resources and other people in place that are better suited to actually speak with you about the situation and the fears that you have. And they can get you more help if they cannot. So it's just one of those things. Like I said, as far as men, I know women usually ask for help, and sometimes they don't ask for help because they used to doing everything themselves. They used to just kind of like taking it all on the chin, just keep on going. You know what I mean? Like, even though they've been worn out, worn down, like, they feel like they can't take anymore. But then it comes to a point where, like, if you think about it so much and it becomes just a daily routine and a daily cycle, you gotta imagine the long-term effects it's gonna have on your body. So I would suggest that people don't do what I did after I lost all of my family members. I lost my stepdad 2006, right after Katrina. 7 months later, my auntie that I went to pick up to try to get out of the storm, she passed away from an aneurysm. And then 6 months after my auntie died, my grandmother died. And then after my grandmother died, 5 months later, my mom's passed away. So it just was a lot of death. It was a lot of death that, like, kind of shook me to my core, and it made me feel like I was gonna die next. So I really had to start like digging deep, and like I started stressing myself even more, put more pressure on myself thinking of things that like I had like unfinished business. Like I don't think I had an insurance policy at the time to even if something happened to me, leave my son with that, or him not have a way to bury me. I was thinking about like making sure I left a written will and like voice and video recordings of what I wanted him to have in case I passed away and what I wanted the youngest one to have as well. And so that's a lot to go on in somebody's brain. That's a lot to deal with all on your own. Like in trying to manage that, no matter how big and tough you are, eventually your head is gonna win and it's gonna beat you if you're too deep inside your head and you don't like to ask for help. That can be detrimental eventually one day. But if I didn't listen to a friend of mine that said, look, I just want you to just, no biggie, but just please come by the doctor's office. She told me that she was a doctor. She didn't really want to share that at first because she just wanted to be like a poet and just didn't want nobody to know about her profession. Well, I think she helped, like keep me alive. Like, they had to experiment at first trying to see what was wrong with me. Then they seen my blood pressure was way out of control, almost at stroke levels. She helped me to catch it at the right time just by mentioning that to me. I know I was having a bunch of headaches, like every day, like my eyes was getting blurry, I couldn't really see. Like my neck started hurting, like, and you can tell when you have a high blood pressure, like type of headache. And it felt like my head was about to bust open, so I'm thinking aneurysm, I'm thinking heart attack, like my mom's, I'm thinking so much stuff, and that's not healthy, mentally. And so I would say, yes, I didn't have any complaints about, sharing my story and the pain and anguish that I felt over the years, but also that people know that I had to choose to live and had to get my mental health together and like had to let some things go and put some things in the rearview mirror for me to move forward, and I had to get out of my head. So I couldn't do the same things I was doing before and expecting to move forward. The definition of insanity is keep doing the same old thing, but you're expecting a different result. So something had to change. So finally I got the courage, the spirit, like in the spiritual world, my moms and the ancestors, and even God was like, it's okay, man, it's time to move on and get out your own head, get out your own way, and live and see what else life has to offer. But yes, the two films you can find me in is on National Geographic and Hulu channel as well as Disney Plus. It's called Hurricane Katrina: Race Against Time. They did a great job with that film. Pointed out a lot of negligence within that film. You can see why it's so traumatizing to the majority of us. Also, I had the honor and the privilege and give a lot of credit and love to my big brother, Spike Lee, for putting me on the cover of the film. That's still mind blowing. And also having faith in my storytelling, ability. So, the name of that film is Katrina, Come Hell or High Water, and it's been at like #1 for like a few weeks, and out here in the U.S. as well as Canada. But I've been fielding messages from all over the world. People been praying for me, and a lot of guys actually, and I guess this was important that they have a lot of guys that were like, man, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's like it did a lot for me. Like, they plan on asking for help. They won't try to do it alone. And yeah, like all of that has been strengthening me, and it made it more worth it that I participated in this film. And as far as the trauma, I know it's bigger than me, so um, yeah, I didn't mind that part at all. But see, I didn't get emotional, and I know it was gonna be kind of like a setback. Feeling any kind of emotions, or depression, or any sadness can like maybe trigger my body. So I have to be cautious too as well about that. But I pick my battles, and I just figure that it's so much bigger than me that it'll be worth it to have to deal with it a little while longer. But it's never gonna go away. And some of you guys gonna have trauma that you might still think about it. But it's gonna be the way you respond when you think about it, and how severe will it affect you mentally if you keep putting some same old thing in, repeating your head, and you're always in that mode, and you thinking about whatever negative that happened to you, what kind of disaster you went through, how you almost didn't make it. If you focus on that a lot, then you're gonna have some problems physically later on. So like I said, man, I would just say, if you're spiritual, talk to your God, pray to him. And in all, we all should just be seeking more knowledge. And also, doing a little bit more research, about grief and how to keep your mental health in check when you do go through like such a great tragedy. A lot of people also been commending me for being so calm and just focusing on storytelling. The sound of my voice is so soothing and relaxing. So I don't know what that is, but it's just my voice. And but I hear how angelic it is, so I don't take it for granted. So I just try to use my voice to uplift others. I've always been a motivator, and I always encourage people. So 2025 was like my time to really come out and be reintroduced to the world, but more so over this go round, I really was introduced all over the world by two amazing films, and also a part of a few other films with ESPN, called Above the Tide. That was pretty cool. And then one is coming out on CNN soon. However, still the overall message from me about this is, check on yourself. Mental health is serious. It doesn't mean that you're crazy just because you're hurting and you're in pain. And the pain is not where people could actually see it. Pain is in your head. You have people that can talk to you. You can help you work on it. You get a better understanding, and you'll live and be grateful to be alive, because they have a lot of people that are no longer with us. And we can't bring them back. I won't say just focus on the living, because the ancestors are always going to be there. You just got to remember, do the best that you can, and you don't have to do it all by yourself. In the spiritual world, call on your Savior, the Most High. But in this crazy world we living in, they have somebody that cares about what you're going through and how you feel, and willing to help, help you work it out. Anyway, man, God bless y'all. Love and light. Check on yourself, but also check on your people. God bless y'all.